everyone. Everyone is asking about, okay, what do you mean by don't FOMO the stop loss, or, what is the, how do you know what to move your stop loss up to? All right. So here's my strategy. One of various strategies that I try to master at each day trade. Now, I'm not perfect, but here is what I'm thinking. Let's talk about KNDI this morning. We know that it got halted up with this big green bar, and there was no way that any of us can actually get in. All right. But for majority of us, I think we all kind of just got in around this area because it was actually flowing above VWAP. So VWAP is one of the various strategies that we need to use, right? If the trade is above VWAP or it bounces off the VWAP, and we can tell that this bounced off the VWAP here with that little shadow right here. If that happens, that means that VWAP is now the continuing support for this particular trade. So we can say, let's say right here, we can get in about, I got in today about the 780 area, right about here, okay, because I saw the price bounce off the VWAP. So I'm going to get in about this candle right here, okay? Now, at this point, I'm thinking to myself, as I entered the order, I got to know what my minimum stop loss is going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a stop loss right here at the VWAP line, or at the end of the wick, all right, or the bottom wick. And you can tell I can't place a perfect line here, all right. So I'm just going to kind of minimize this line. So I'm going to place a stop loss at about the 7.6, or right about here, 7.62. Okay. So with that being said, now the as you're going through a day trade, you're going to have to make decisions fast. Not everybody is going to be perfect about this. I make mistakes too, so don't worry if you make a mistake, but I'd rather you practice this, all right? So now it's going into this new candle here, and it's actually doing okay. We see a little shooting star candle, but it's actually still, again, it's above my VWAP, it's above my EMA 9 line, EMA 15, and it's way above all my support lines here. So I'm okay with this trade as it is happening right now. All right, so I'm continuing to go through this trade, and it's still closing above my VWAP line. All right, so I'm still okay within this trade. But see here, I got in around 7.80. Now the price over here is 7.93, 7 point. It's now moving to above $8 mark. All right, so here's where you have to be proactive in thinking about your stop loss. You're already making profit, all right, from this area into this area. All right, so you're up pretty good. So now what you're going to do is you're going to Webull and you set your stop profit. Now, by the way, when you enter the initial limit order, you should also do a stop and take profit order on Webull app. All right, and you can do this pretty easily as you're entering the trade. And now what I do is I go back into the app and I modify my trade, all right, modify my stop. Now I'm going to look at this. I'm going to put, so now, assuming I'm here now, all right, I'm about $8 a share now. I'm up from 7.8. So now what I want to do is I can look back at the last couple of candles and look at the bottom wicks. The support is rising, okay? All right, the support is rising so far. So I may decide to put a stop loss right under this candle here, okay? So you always want to look back in the last couple of candles, because you are, right now, you are positive in this trade. Why risk it? All right, why continue to put your stop loss down here when you can actually move it up? So that, therefore, you're guaranteeing yourself a decent trade. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so I'm still riding it at this point, and now we're peaking at another level, right? So now we're at 823, 820 level. So now I'm pretty good with my profits so far. So now I'm going to say, all right, so now I'm up on this trade. Let me go ahead and put a stop loss right here. I'm using also my VWAP line as support, but I'm also, now the prices are starting to get a little bit close to my EMA 9 line. All right, so now I have another stop loss at 7.85. Prior to that was about 778. Prior to that was 7.56. So as I enter into this trade, my stop loss keeps going up. Now I actually exited the trade right about here. I actually set a stop loss at 825 because I saw that this was a red bar. It went as high as 8.47, all right, 8.47. And so I decided to put a stop loss right about at the end of this candle. Well, I put it about 825 right here, okay? And the reason I did that is because I knew right here where the VWAP, it was starting to touch the VWAP a little bit here. So now my support, okay, is going to be moving up, okay? All right. Now, I want to mention one thing. I can never know what's going to happen in the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes. I don't know. But this little candle didn't kind of worry me a little bit. Now, you can definitely FOMO this. You can say, oh, no, I'm going to keep my stop loss here. And you're never going to know what's going to happen if this thing continues to drop back down here. And then, therefore, you lose all your profits at this point. Okay, or it may jump up to $9.17, which it did. Fantastic. I could have stayed in, but you know what? I had to be very conservative. And my philosophy here is that you always want to make consistent, profitable trades versus trying to make the biggest bang out of each trade. You will lose more times, than not when you're trying to make the biggest bang out of every trade. You want to make base hits consistently on a day-to-day basis with small consistent trades. Now I got out of this trade about 10, I think 11% profit, etc. Not a big deal. All right, so I'll move on. Now here I'm gonna look at this, and it hit. I know it hit a peak of 917. Okay, this little shooting star candle is what we call exhaustion candle. All right, the buyers got tired of buying up the price, so we see that it never touched back to 917. It's tried a couple times. I think it even maybe got close right here, 886 at the end of the after hours today. All right, so I will not get into back into this trade. That's my rule. That's not your rule, but it's my rule. My rule is I'm not going to get back into this trade unless I see a nice rounded bottom and it actually tries to break VWAP or it matches 917. Now, we know this for now going into tomorrow. 917 is going to be your hard resistance, okay? If it breaks 917 tomorrow, I expect this KNDI to go even further. But see, it has not broken VWAP for majority of the day, only briefly here, a little bounce right here, but majority of the time it's been trading below VWAP and also just trending with the EMA 9 lines. So with that being said, my strategy is this for tomorrow. If it breaks 917 or it gets pretty close above around this level, then I may enter the trade and for another swing up. But if it does not, then I leave this trade alone. All right. So let's recap a little bit here. You're moving up the stop losses. I know these are horrible lines, so bear with me. If as the price is channeling up, you move your stop prices up. Therefore, even if you get stopped out, you are still net positive on the trade. All right.